The Week 16 playoff picture is set, but injuries and clinching scenarios could change everything this weekend. Let's talk about it. What's up, football fans? NFL fans, we got one for you as a whole. Week 16 brings clinching scenarios across both conferences. However, injuries are threatening to play a major role in how it shakes out. Let's hop into it. In the AFC, the 10-4 Buffalo Bills face off against the 3-11 Cleveland Browns on Sunday at 1 p.m. Eastern, and Buffalo can clinch a playoff berth with a Buffalo win plus an Indianapolis tie or loss, a Buffalo win plus a Houston tie or loss, and a Buffalo tie with either an Indianapolis loss or a Houston loss. But Myles Garrett enters the game still chasing history. He's at 21.5 sacks on the season, which means he's just 1.5 away from taking the record for most sacks in a single season. Now let's look at the Patriots. The 11-3 New England Patriots face off against the 7-7 Baltimore Ravens on Sunday at 8:20 p.m. Eastern. The Patriots can clinch their playoff berth with either a tie or a win, an Indianapolis loss or tie, and a Houston loss or tie. However, they're entering the game with a pretty banged up defensive backfield. Linebacker Christian Elliss was limited with an illness. Linebacker Harold Landry, linebacker Robert Spillane, cornerback Carlton Davis, and cornerback Marcus Jones did not practice this week. Now let's look at the Chargers and Cowboys game. The 10-4 Los Angeles Chargers face off against the 6-7-1 Dallas Cowboys on Sunday at 1 p.m. Eastern. The Chargers can clinch a playoff berth with a win and an Indianapolis loss or tie, a win with the Houston loss or tie, a tie with an Indianapolis loss, or a tie with an Indianapolis tie and a Houston loss. However, they enter this matchup with a banged up wide receiver room. Wide receiver Trey Harris and wide receiver Quentin Johnston were both limited this week, while wide receiver Darius Davis was listed as a DNP. For the Cowboys, losing you're out. But while the Chargers have a banged-up wide receiver room, the Cowboys are banged up in the cornerback room. Cornerbacks Josh Butler and Trayvon Diggs, who both recently had their 21-day window opened up, were limited in practice this week. Rookie cornerback Siobhan Revel, who recently came off IR, was also limited, and cornerback Deron Bland was listed as a DNP this week. Now let's look at some NFC clinching scenarios. For the Philadelphia Eagles, they face off against the 4-10 Commanders on Saturday at 4 p.m. Eastern. Philly can clinch a playoff berth with a win, a Dallas loss, or a Philly tie and a Dallas tie. However, they're still without two key players. Right tackle Lane Johnson and defensive tackle Jalen Carter are both ruled out for the game. And lastly, let's look at the Chicago Bears versus the Green Bay Packers. The 10-4 Bears face off against the 9-4-1 Packers as your late game on Saturday at 8:20 p.m. Eastern. Both hold clinching scenarios. Chicago can clinch with a win plus a Detroit loss or tie, or a tie with a Detroit loss. However, wide receiver Rome Odunze was listed as a DNP this week, and wide receiver Luther Burden III is already ruled out. The Packers enter this matchup with the same clinching scenario as the Bears: a win plus a Detroit loss or tie, or a tie plus a Detroit loss. However, they're facing some running back issues. Running back Chris Brooks and Josh Jacobs are both listed as questionable, while running back Marshawn Lloyd is already listed as out. Every result matters from here on out. So NFL fans, what do you think? Which team has the most pressure headed into the weekend? And which injuries could play the biggest impact? Drop your thoughts in the comments down below, and don't forget to like and follow for all of your latest NFL news and updates.